So we have, yes, it has started. Recording, yes. So, so we are progressing, and we discussed last time. Ultimately, the ego is caused by the ignorance and a lot of steps, likes, dislikes, joy and the sorrow, huh, etc. But we never found the answer that how this ego takes birth in our, how it takes birth. So we have to understand that, because if we understand clearly, then we know. It's a very huge topic in Eastern wisdom. It takes almost maybe 100 hours to discuss. So what we are doing in these sessions, that we get a feel of it. Oh, this is what it is. This is how it works. First, as long as we are a consumer, the ego will continue its stronghold. Ego will continue its stronghold on you, and it will prevent you to change your lifestyle. It will prevent you to change your attitude and behavior. So what is happening? I know everything, and I have heard from you, but I'm not able to digest and assimilate in my life. So lifestyle, my behavior and attitude does not change. Then what is left? The ego blames the teacher, or the ego blames the knowledge. Oh, nothing is happening. I know. I know everything. How many of you think like that? So once the attitudinal change brings that I'm a contributor now. I give you a couple of examples. First time I started this session, almost now you can say 40, 43 years back. So by God grace, or I would say by Guruji grace, that I always used to personalize, used to give different practices based on the emotional and mental temperament. Long back, almost 40, 42 years back. So what used to happen, that many of my students used to copy those practices, and they have created their own center. At least a couple of my students have very huge centers in India, especially in Bangalore. Sangeeta is also one of the teachers, but she is very humble, so I'm not saying anything. So what happened, you see that, because I felt too much of pain. Why, they have taken my practices and copying and giving them. It was too painful. And I discussed also with my master. I said, I feel pain. He said, you teach Eastern wisdom coming from all the teachers. You are passing on the knowledge. It is not your knowledge. How can you claim the property of it? Mind was not convinced. But it took 6 months to work on it. Every time I said, today also I felt pain. And after 6 months, what happened? It was a history for my life. I said, whatever the practices I give, it all belongs to you. It is a public property. It should be in the public domain. Do whatever you want to do. You destroy it, you distort it, whatever you want to do. And what happened? The heart expands. That expansion of the consciousness, expansion of the mind, dissolves the ego. And perhaps, I discussed about it. I have a speaker, it's an app. where there are more than 2,000 practices are there. You'll be surprised that I pay $500 for what? So that the people can download those practices and do it. Do those people contact me? No, they need not to. It helps them. Yes, it helps. It gives them the immediate help. And I get an information that it is almost 200 or 300 downloads every week. I'm happy with that. You don't own that. The idea that I possess my body, now come to the main point. I possess my body. I possess my mind. I possess my intellect. Then go back. I possess this much of money. Last week, it was extremely painful to me. I felt painful. I sent an invoice to my private student. He said, I don't have money. But in his previous email, he said, I have 5 or 6 houses. Should I say that he is manipulative? But I felt the pain. Today, I'm going to say sorry to him. I repeated that invoice 2 times. You think about this. Because if you have that idea that you don't have it, one day you will not have it. That is the problem of ego. One day you say, my honey is crazy. One day your mind will become crazy. That is ego. Are you understanding? If you are understanding, then you have to apply to it also in life. If you don't apply, the life will not be in the state of happiness. Think that. Think. So as we are becoming a seeker, we are going to progress. After a few sessions, I'll take up another text. And if you all allow me, we will hammer on that delusion part which is constantly working in our mind. Otherwise, there is no spiritual progress. And that is purely an unknown area. I have to enter from the known to an unknown area. Can you have an ego about unknown area? No. That is why we have to enter into the unknown area. Everything that is known, it is all about known area. My Guruji, my master, left the house at the age of around 14 or 15, if I remember. He went to a monastery. He got initiated. He started learning for almost 20 years. One day, his mind said that nothing happened. He went to the master. Pay attention to this, how the ego works. Every time, in every session, ego says, today I will do it. Now, this crazy beard guy does not have anything to say. I have reached there. I'm relating this to 20 years. So he went to his master. He said, I left schooling. I don't have any education. So 20 years I have already wasted. So nothing is happening. So now I will go to the world and open a convenience shop. Normally we say in India, tea shop. Or a tea shop or a coffee shop. I wasted 20 years. Now pay attention what his master said. First, he asked him that, do you know how many years I have been sitting in this Himalayan? Well, maybe around 50 years. He said, these 50 years for me is only 50 minutes. And you are saying you wasted 20 years. Ego attacks from all the sides in our attitude and behavior, my friends. We should not have ego. No, we should have it. We should have a right ego. Do you get it? His master said, I am I am here for the last 50 years, and these 50 years are just 50 minutes for me, because I'm looking for that real self which is all pervading, which helps you to realize the permanent state of the happiness, which gives you a total transformation in your life. And you say that you wasted 20 years. My master used to tell us the story that he started crying, and everything happened in a week. Not only that, when everything happened in that week, his master called all his students who were of the same age or maybe older than him. He said all to his masters that my master, my Guruji, has reached to a higher state than his master. So now you have to follow him. Now he is your Guru. So I have to validate this. So when I was there were a lot of people who were older than my master. They said, yes, that is a fact. It happened with us. That is. So that is why one great master says, we have understood how the ego is built based on likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow. I have discussed about the wise fool and the wise. And also we discuss hatred and the love. So once we undergo that, we clearly understand what is happening. These are the siblings, you can say, on which the ego is based. So one master says, Tadaham, Tadabandhana. Where there is ego, there is a bondage. There is no awakening. Where there is no ego, there is an awakening. How my master's ego was shattered by a simple statement. It can happen anytime. So unless we throw our mind into totally an unknown area where ego has no entry, there the spiritual consciousness lies, there the real self lies. I will lose everything. No, you will not lose everything. You will not lose everything. Can you believe? 50 years is equal to 50 minutes. Can you see the state of mind? And the realization came instantly. These 20 years. Not even 20 minutes. Who recognizes the time? Ego. Who recognizes the body? Ego. Who recognizes I am in stress? Ego. We are looking into the cause and the origin of the ego. Ego takes many colors and shades, and that causes lot of challenges in our life. We want to know, according to the knowledge past, or anyone who wants to go to the speaker, you can go to the speaker and download all the practices and start teaching. Sam, get ready. But first change yourself. That is a big task. Teaching is not a big deal. You listen to it and you pick up the principle and you teach. And there is another insight timer. There is also about 2,000 practices are uploaded. Sometimes I also upload these audio files, which I send to you. Come to the ego part. Let me give a little background and then matter and the consciousness. Everything that is matter undergoes a change. Consciousness never undergoes a change. It is all pervading. Why it does not go under change? Why the consciousness does not, why the real self does not undergo any change? Because it is all pervading. So does the all pervading cannot go under a change? Reflect on it. After all, there should be any place to change. There is no place left. That's why it is all pervading. Do you see that? Now, I'm just picking up a very subtle aspects of it that we are going to talk later. So matter undergoes a change. Where is this matter? Body, mind, intellect, or egos? Plastic, mouse. Everything undergoes a change. What affects that change? Oh, we'll take the law of inertia. You know law of inertia, you might have studied. Mouse will continue to stay in this position unless an external force is applied to change its position. Right? That is the law of inertia, law of motion. I'm comparing to make you understand this. So this, everything that is matter based on three functions. It has an rest is also an activity for the mouse. When I press this mouse, it starts acting. That is also one activity. And if it does its activity rightly, these are the three qualities present in the entire material kingdom. And they are known as the gunas. Sato, Rajo, and Tamo guna. The movement of these three guna builds my ego. Who is attending the session? I am attending the session. You see, ego has come. I am listening to you patiently. Sato guna is there. My mind was distracted. Rajo guna is there. I did not understand. Tamo guna is there. Sato, Rajo, and Tamo guna are constantly working at all the time. Where there is a change, where there is a rest, where there is a foolishness, where there is a knowledge, these three gunas are working. Because three gunas are constantly interacting, they are always present. What is the meaning of the ripe ego? Satoguna is 90%. Still you need Rajoguna because I'm speaking. I have to use the Rajoguna to speak. I need a rest. I have to sleep. Tamoguna is required. So what is that proportion? Satoguna is, I'm just giving a rough example. The Satoguna, it's a deep topic. Satoguna is 90%. Rajo and the Tamoguna is 10%. Your attitude is going to change. Behavior is going to change. The ego becomes right. Right ego doesn't harm anyone. It does not harm you. It does not harm anyone. If the Rajoguna is 90%, then you are constantly engaged in the worldly activities. You are fully busy. And there comes, oh no, I'm very sensitive to the people. I'm very sensitive. No, you are not very sensitive. The Rajoguna is dominant. Rajoguna has a lot of expectations. Your expectations are not being fulfilled. That is why you claim that you are very sensitive. You're very sensitive. Are you sensitive to others? That is Satoguna. So this Satoguna, Rajoguna lives with a very strong attachment. It's a higher ambition. Hyperactive. It wants to achieve everything. For example, what Bill Gates says. That is why we read more about Bill Gates. Who can read about us? Who can read about the seekers? Are you understanding? Who will read? We all are seekers. Who will study about this? Okay, no, you're just doing meditation. It's okay. Rajoguna activity. Oh, what happened, Oh, 5 people are killed. Oh, let me see what is the news. Tamoguna. Tamoguna. This is happening 24/7, including in our sleep. When the tamoguna is very active, or no, rajoguna is very active with the tamoguna in the deep sleep in the morning, your mind says, I'm totally upset, I'm still feeling tired. How many hours you slept? 10 hours. Who represents that? Tamoguna, rajoguna, and satoguna, ego. We will understand it deeply. I said you something and you start reacting. What we are learning, I'm passing on the knowledge. There is no need to react. So these 3 gunas causes the attitude and behavior 24/7. This prevents your intellectual understanding to move down to the mind. That's why we are not able to change also. We'll talk in detail. Before I talk in detail, because the other text is so beautiful. It says, once we are a seeker, now we should be ready to endure. We should hit back this ego. This ego takes many colors and the shapes. Look at this guy, he's trying to show, this is not my problem, let him show. Are you getting it? Now I'm talking about, my mind is reacting. Why my mind is reacting? No, I don't do like this, Why the heck, he is doing like this? No. Unless we dissolve completely, then only we can have an awakening. So the text we are going to learn is all about hammer on the ego, hammer on the delusion. And it gives you a variety of scenarios in 32 sessions. So then you can recognize and realize, oh, my ego is working, I should change it. We don't recognize it. We rationalize it. Main topic is the ego. The 3 qualities represents that I-ness. I am stressed, same 3 gunas. I am happy, same 3 gunas. The proportion is different. Tamoguna opposes the knowledge. What happens? Anger, hesitation, fighting. Because it is opposing the knowledge. Do you see that? Contemplate and reflect on this. Anytime I'm agitated, anytime I'm reacting, can you recognize it's the play of the 3 gunas? Let me check out. Let me check. Let me find out what is happening. Is a lot of expectations are there from the world outside, or I'm opposing the knowledge. Definitely when I'm in anxiety, when I'm into anxiety and depression and reaction, I'm opposing the knowledge. Don't you understand that anxiety is bad? Yes, I understand. But what to do? I'm still in anxiety. Do you see that? You see how it brings that clarity and understanding. 3 gunas. Satoguna, we cannot reach to the highest state of now related to the meditation. We cannot reach to the highest state of meditation if we don't have 90% of satoguna in our way of life. Means the way I'm living. Way of living, what do you mean by that? My thought, my speech, my action, my response, the way I perform my action in my personal, professional, and social life. Somebody, your honey heard you yesterday and today, let us have a cup of tea. I don't want to talk to you. Tamoguna is still prevalent. Can you change it? And you are saying that you rationalize yourself? I should be a little tougher, in the coming sessions. So try to understand. You want to carry forward your tamoguna? And you say that I don't have an ego, you rationalize it? Are you getting it? I believe you are getting it. We have been together for a couple of years. Now the time has come. The Sato Guna, Master clearly says, if you don't have this Sato Guna in your attitude, behavior, means thought, speech, and action. Forget about meditation. Then we rationalize, just an awareness, everything is there. What you're aware of, I'm aware of my reaction to you, and I'm in meditation. What a great meditator I am. It will not work. Rajoguna. I had a lot of thoughts today in my meditation. Rajoguna. So Rajoguna is expecting from the material world. That's why I have a lot of thoughts. No, I was not able to reach to that state of meditation because thoughts were disturbing me. It was Rajoguna. Unless the Satoguna becomes predominant, these three gunas will always remain present in you. That is why ego sometimes takes action. Ego sometimes withdraws itself. I'm a lonely person in this world because you have a lot of expectations. These expectations are not met by the world. That is why you are a lonely person. And I'm sorry, I have to little chuff on your mind, not on you. How dare I? So Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Sometimes the Tamoguna withdraws you and we build a strong ego. No, I have left everything. There is no hope in the world. The entire world is crazy except you. The greatest level of Tamoguna. Are you getting it? If you make fun of your ego, the ego will dissolve. We are not able to realize that. We create a wall, a defensive system. Patriot missile. Do you know what is Patriot missile? US has developed. Three gunas builds up the ego. We should have the ripe ego. Ripe ego simply means the 90% is tamoguna. I understand you said, you reacted on particular statement. So you say, okay, let me move and let me understand why I reacted and what is the statement. You move into the satoguna. It takes a fraction of a second to move into it. But to do that, I need a preparation. Because if I don't have a background of likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow, that gives me the pain, change will not come if I don't remember those principles. Think. You see the clarity in the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Restlessness and heedlessness. Rajo and Tamoguna. To overcome these two gunas, I have to change my attitude. I gave you an example of my master. 20 years is just not even 20 minutes. You are thinking in that way. That very thinking changes your ego that is built on the time that is 20 years. Are you getting it? I believe so. That's why, I used to refer to my Dear friend, I lived loveless life for 27 years. You see the play of the three gunas there. So if we have more tamoguna, I cannot directly move to the satoguna. Tamoguna has to be converted into rajoguna. I have to start activity. I don't find time during the practice. No, I must get up 1 hour before. So it matters my life. So you are introducing rajoguna. First few days, it will be discomfort, but if you continue, it will change. And then only rajoguna can move to the satoguna. You cannot jump from the tamoguna to the satoguna. And if we have more rajoguna, obviously, we can move to the satoguna. Otherwise, what is satoguna? Last point. I'm just briefing. It takes maybe it may take $100. What is satoguna? It is pure awareness and alertness. Before you think, before you speak, before you act. So in one way, those people who say meditation is pure awareness, they are right. But they don't know what is going on behind. I'm not criticizing them. So they might have studied, oh, Satoguna, this text says pure awareness. Oh, meditation is pure awareness. I don't know the background. I have a mouse and I don't know how to operate it. Do you see that? I don't know how to operate it. And so those people who say, oh, it is just a pure awareness, that is why they suffer a lot. That is why they do a lot of marketing. I'm not getting so many followers. You see the Rajoguna. Do you see that? That is the journey. Close your eyes. Let us. Eyes are closed and being comfortable. Now you see the entire journey. Those who have been attending this session regularly, they know. I get rid of you being comfortable and being carefree. I do not spend a lot of time. Why? At least I must hope that after attending so many sessions, you instantly move your mind to the Satoguna. What is Satoguna? Being comfortable. The moment I say close your eyes, the body is still, you start experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now, can you understand? The hair splitting analysis our masters have done. You settle yourself, done. Satoguna is predominant. If it is not, I have already explained to you. And now the mind says, oh, let me use the mantra. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. This mind is involved moving mind. This is Satoguna. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You see that the mind uses the very softness and gentleness. Let everyone be happy. Let everyone be happy. I'm excited to make you happy. This is all belongs to Tamo and Rajoguna. It will build your ego. It will overturn. See the difference. Happiness. Now what will happen? That very knowledge will start descending into your mind. Happiness is the essential nature of everyone. And I have to be very careful to not to make anyone unhappy by my thought, speech, and action is bypassing your ego. I have many ways, many options. I have an intellect. Why? Because I want to be in happiness. Sarvesham, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu. I am already in stress. How can I make others happy? Tamoguna. I told you it takes 100 hours to understand it. That we will take up some time. Sarvesham, may there be peace for all. How can I make you happy if I am unhappy? Tamoguna. I forgot. It opposes the knowledge. You see, it opposed the knowledge. Now my mind is filled with those thoughts. Even though later on I realize that peace is my essential nature. Later on, that later on continues in our life and we die. Peace is our essential nature. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be a completeness in completeness. Highest state of the Satoguna. You see how I'm explaining every time? The steps are the same. But mind is becoming subtler and subtler. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be an auspiciousness. Now you see, I have been repeating, only picking up the one mantra, so that now your mind should be settled in the entire spectrum of knowledge. You can translate these mantra in terms of likes and dislikes, joy and this sorrow, distracted mind during the practice of meditation in terms of the Sato, Rajo, and Tamoguna. You see, when your mind plays with it, ego has no place to be there. Pure awareness takes place. Can it happen today? Yes. If you are my master, it can happen today. We'll go for the purification of the mind, looking deep inside the forehead in the space, dropping Om Shanti, and start breathing quick and short and gentle breath into the rib cage expansion and the contraction of the ribs. And continue watching if the flow of the breath from both the nostrils are equal or not. It will become equal. It may become equal if you are doing for 10 minutes. It may become equal from the very first minute. Now, you see what you have learned. I have added another step into that. Continue. Keep on doing quick, short, gentle breathing into the rib cage. One more addition, that you are watching the flow of the breath from both the nostrils. They are equal or not equal, you are just aware of that. So what happens? The time comes, they have an equal flow. They have an equal flow, my friends. Continue. You're doing Om Shanti, you're aware of the flow of the breath, and you're also doing the rib cage breathing. Continue, my friends. The one more awareness is the flow of the breath. And stop this, become aware of the flow of the breath at the same time. You recognize and accept the changes taking place. Now you see, you can easily recognize whether the Satoguna, Rajoguna, or the Tamoguna, which one was active. And you can easily understand, oh, that is why my reaction was there. Oh, that's why it is an easy flow. Okay. And from the time you start, your flow is equal. You are in Satoguna, you need not to worry about it. That is the importance of the active steps. Now, you start breathing into the belly. Little longer breath, you expand the belly during inhalation and contract the belly during exhalation. Om Shanti continues to be dropped inside the forehead in the space. And one more addition is the flow of the breath. When you are attentive to the flow of the breath, the mind will not be distracted to the other thoughts also. It has dual benefits. Long, deep. Long, deep breath into the belly. You may have a sound. You're watching the flow of the breath. At the same time, you're dropping Om Shanti, my friends. And stop this. So your mind goes to the flow of the breath. You already recognize the sensation, the changes that is taking place, or the vision and the colors. You're not doing anything. You're just watching. And it helps you to recognize if the satoguna is predominant. So in one way, am I increasing, making the satoguna predominant during the journey? Answer is yes. Modern science, recognizes based on the oxygen consumption, let them do it. They're also right. We have to follow the principles. Now, looking deep inside the forehead in the space, and today we are only doing for 3 minutes each. You will see a tremendous change because you have that right knowledge. And now start breathing both from the belly and the rib cage, long, deep in the hissing breath. Awareness 1, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Awareness 2, belly breathing. Awareness 3, the rib cage breathing. They both are combined. Awareness 4, it cannot be divided, but for right reason, I'm using the wrong phrases. Awareness 5, flow of the breath. Awareness 6, Shanti. Where is a common factor is the awareness. And awareness, distraction of the mind. Long, deep, hissing breaths from the belly and the rib cage. Om Shanti. Continues awareness on the flow of the breath in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Do you see, my friends? We only need an awareness to explain in terms of the thought. It takes long time just to be aware. It is timeless. And now stop this, recognize, accept the changes, visions, and the colors that we have, and what? Flow of the breath. You're aware of the flow of the breath. Now you have been doing the nyasa. The one of the main role of the nyasa is to bring the flow of the breath equal from both the nostrils. You already know it. What we do in nyasa, you start inhaling deep, silent, slow, of which you are comfortable, both into the belly and the rib cage. So it is the first point of awareness. Now, as you inhale, move the mind from the center top of the head to the spine, reaching to the tailbone, singing. So now, this time you are singing Om Shanti mentally. And as you exhale, the mind moves from the tailbone to the top of the head, singing mentally during exhalation. So your breath is rhythmic. You are singing Om Shanti. You are moving the mind on the inside the spine in a line. I had a different explanation before, and now I'm explaining differently. We'll talk about that. And at the same time, you are aware if the flow of the breath becomes equal majority. It happens, but it does not remain equal during the daytime. Why? Ego. Ego takes over. Raju and Satoguna takes over. We find helpless in changing our attitude. And now leave this step, go to the triangle, visualize the triangle of any color deep inside the heart, and you already know. Move the mind on each side of the triangle, dropping Om Shanti, clockwise, anti-clockwise. The moment you see, oh, the mind is syncing with Om Shanti on the side of the triangle, simple. Move the mind deep inside through the center of a triangle inside the heart, singing Om. You discover the mind seemingly stops. I'm using these phrases for the future sessions. The moment you feel Shanti and do nothing, you are already into the state of doing nothing. It's a kind of self absorption. And if the distraction comes, Rajoguna comes, we go back to the triangle, we sink, we return again. We don't get upset. You get upset, Tamoguna. Tamoguna says, I am upset during the meditation. So you are aware of Tamu and the movement of these three gunas are always in motion. So we are mindful of inside. Now leave this step. Om Shanti, the japa. Reminder, that here all the sense organs are living in the mind. Shanti, you are saying mentally, it means you hear the sound, the mind's ear, the mind's skin, the mind's eye, the mind's tongue is doing Om Shanti. And there is an instant recognition of overwhelming sensations all around the fingers or into the whole body that permeates into the whole body also. Continue. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, You can have any question. Let us do the unexpected again. How are you, Samir?
Sir, it was very deep, and I went quickly into meditation.
Good.
These are bad.
Very good. Wonderful. That the way it should be done. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning. Very good meditation. I enjoyed the lesson on the gunas, and I think for me, I found immediately I just went into this deep indigo space pretty much the entire practice meditation, and very not attracted by thoughts or anything like that. Just very deep inside my forehead with indigo everywhere.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Later in the following sessions, we will relate ego, three gunas, and the colors together. I was waiting for it. Wonderful. How are you, Jerry? You
Sir,
both are still in Canada?
yes,
Oh, okay, okay.
thank you, sir. I'm good. The meditation was really deep, absorbed. I find by the time we get to the triangle and completely, the mind is really one pointed at that point. Before that, there's some thoughts for sure that I'm aware of. But by the time we get to that really one pointed focus, or at least my mind does, it
Yeah,
takes
that,
till there.
that's beautiful.
One thing, I like the ego. For me, I like to think of it as that roommate that nobody wants to live with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's because
Perfect.
everything that happens, if it's bad, then they blame it on you. That's the ego blaming it on me. I'm not good enough. And then if everything that's good that happens, well, then they're wonderful, and they,
Yeah.
so it's that obnoxious roommate.
It is such a great delusion that I thought is ego. That I thought says, I want to live with the way I am. And they both are ego. But others do not want to live with you. That I don't recognize. Why I don't recognize? Because I superimpose my ideas and the notions on the entire world. You rightly said. It's a great point. Beautiful. Thank you. And how are you, Christina?
Very well, thank you. I had a lot of distraction. My ego was hard at work. I think I even started to fall asleep. And then there was just a moment of clarity and absorption that right in the middle and lasted through.
No issue. You simply recognize that how the ego changes from the sleepiness to distraction to the calmness. And it is because if the satoguna is predominant, you live continuously into that state. And if the rajoguna takes over the satoguna, the distraction. The sleepiness and dizziness comes, it is the tamoguna takes over the satoguna. That is why we don't have one ego. I am stressed in the morning, first ego. I am happy in the afternoon, second ego. You are responsible for my sorrow, third ego. So we have millions, thousands of the ego moments every day. But the real I does not change. Behind that, it is pure awareness, which knows everything. We don't identify with it, and that's why we have a problem. So we need not to identify, you recognize only. The very recognition is to enter into the awareness. Beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thanks. I was aware of the interplay of the gunas, but it wasn't too much. So with the awareness, I was able to bring it back to the absorption and focus. So good
Beautiful.
meditation.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. How are you, Sam?
Good. Lesson was great today. Meditation was good. Started seeing a really bright sunflower during the triangle part of the meditation, which was cool
Yeah,
and weird.
sunflower color. Very good. Beautiful. Continue the journey. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good. Today's talk helped me to recall that the very concept of time exists only as long as our ego exists. Otherwise, the time is irrelevant. And there can be no time for an eternal entity such as the real self. So the time is probably the same invention of the ego as everything around us. Nothing more, nothing less.
Beautiful.
In the meditation, the thought also came to my mind related to this false time concept that this the knowledge, the practices, the everything we do to discover the real self is also very relative to our ego, and as such, all this is non-existent for the real self. It is superficial. It exists only as long as the ego exists.
How beautifully you have put. You have covered very higher steps that we are definitely going to take up in these sessions. And I also hope Dennis translates our one Ukrainian group session, paid session. I hope that, well, they all are seekers, they have to reach, they have to come to this point. They are still, but everyone is a seeker. What is the relevant point? Where there is a time, there is a ego. Where there is ego, there is a time in the space. Where there is a time and where there is a time in the space, there is an objective reality. Where there is an objective reality, I subjectify. I become stressed. That is why I say I'm stressed. At this moment of time, I am in pleasure at that moment of the time, with reference to the time and the space, those who want to know the higher steps. So he rightly points out. Now what happens, that is why we say meditation is transcending the three gunas. Forget about ego. There is an awareness behind the play of the three gunas. After all, I'm aware of the Satoguna, I'm aware of the Rajoguna, I'm aware of the Tamoguna. So that very awareness is the real self. Rightly fine. We will pick up, slowly, step by step this. How are you, Barbara?
Thank you. When I was in the cave of my heart, I was so absorbed. Then when you said we should go to the japa, I didn't want to do that. But then when I went to the japa, again, it happened that I was so absorbed that it was just beautiful. I wanted to stay there.
Yeah. We can attain a kind of self-absorption in any of these steps. Now, and let me tell you, because every time, even if I forget, all the three types of the breathing, you have to pay attention that whether you have an equal flow during these practices or not. So when you have an equal flow, you are already absorbed. So what will happen in the entire 30-35 minutes of the practice, there is a continuous state of the self-absorption. Oh, I have revealed my secrets. It's okay. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, mine was calm, easy, absorbed.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's enough. Mind was easy, calm, and absorbed. Where is Terry? Here it is. How are you, Terry?
I appreciated the lesson. the lesson. Not now, please. Just give me a minute. Okay. And I hope I can say this. When you, oh, I don't know if I can make the words.
No issue.
The consciousness, because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yes.
It fills up all the space.
Yes.
It has to be non-duality, because in order to change, it needs space. And there's no space because it fills up all of it.
Yes.
The non-duality. I think that's what you were saying. And
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Only one more point I want to add here: the consciousness is the container that, or even of the space, of all the five elements, of everything, of the time. The consciousness is the container of the time and the space and the objects. Space is not the container of the consciousness. So yeah, we are going to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, I'm good and peaceful. No comments mainly.
Very good. Peaceful is good enough. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर थोड़ा ईगो का जो आ रहा था और वो कई हम बहुत सूक्ष्म रूप से ईगो हमें तंग करती है
आवाज भरा सी रही है।
तो मुझे भी कहा
Yeah. She was totally absorbed into the peace. Now see that I'm talking. Am I aware of the stillness of the body? Tamoguna has to be present. Triguna has to be present everywhere. I'm speaking. Activity has started. Rajoguna. But it is dominated by the knowledge and the clarity. It is the Satoguna. Think of this. So in your thought, speech, and action, Satoguna is 90%. You need not to worry. You need not even to care that ego, which demands an appreciation, an expectation, an attachment, and the time and the space. You are free. That is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.